We have an insider talking about what Microsoft's quadruple-A studio, The Initiative, is working on, and I got some things I want to say about it. Let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? It's Randall Thor19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope everyone's having a great day, and I just want to thank each and every one of you guys who went out of your way and sent me happy birthday wishes on Twitter or social media. It means a lot. And if you guys can do me one last big favor, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and share this video out on social media. Thank you guys for all your support. During the July Xbox Game Showcase, Microsoft finally unveiled the projects that some of their teams were working on. Obsidian's working on a big AAA Skyrim project called Avowed. Playground is working on Fable, Undead Labs is working on State of Decay 3, and obviously Turn 10 is working on the next iteration of Forza Motorsport. But perhaps the one studio that almost every Xbox fan is curious about is the quadruple-A studio, The Initiative, based in Santa Monica. What exactly are they working on? Rumors point to it being Perfect Dark, and we got an article yesterday from the insider Jeff Grubb, who has been right a lot this summer, that basically tells us what to expect from the Initiative's game. Now, before we get into Jeff's comments about the Initiative's game, if you've been paying attention to the Xbox 2 podcast recently, myself and Jez Corden have talked about the Initiative's project, and we keep on hearing that it is Perfect Dark, but not exactly Perfect Dark. A game inspired by Perfect Dark, or a game that is heavily influenced or features Perfect Dark in some manner, but it's a new game, potentially a brand new IP. And what really gets me excited about this Perfect Dark project, outside of the fact that this is supposed to be a quadruple-A game, is the type of game I'm hearing it is. So this Perfect Dark project is a third-person stealth action game, and I don't know about you guys, but my mind immediately goes to Splinter Cell. And if I can't get a Splinter Cell game from Ubisoft, then I will definitely take one from Microsoft. And with that said, this is what Jeff Grubb has to say about the Initiative's game. Quote, "The Initiative is dabbling with the Perfect Dark universe for its upcoming game, according to sources familiar with the project." What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that it's a new Perfect Dark game, and it may not even take place in the same universe or star the same characters. So don't expect a game about Joanna Dark, but maybe elements of her game could show up in the Initiative's project. So don't be thinking that this is a remake of the original Perfect Dark, or that it's a sequel to Perfect Dark Zero, or hell, that this is even going to be a reboot of the franchise. This seems to be a game that is going to be heavily inspired by, or at least features something from the original Perfect Dark games, and might be set in the same universe, but remain its own game. Think of Avowed, the new game by Obsidian. It's not Pillars of Eternity, but it is set in that universe. And Jeff Grubb explains it better than I could right here. He says, think about the link between Apex Legends and Titanfall. Respawn says those two games exist in the same universe, and the Initiative's game may not even have that strong of a connection to Perfect Dark. But no one considers Apex Legends a Titanfall game, and it's likely that no one will really consider the Initiative's game a Perfect Dark. Now that is an interesting comparison to think about. Apex Legends is set in the Titanfall universe, but nobody really thinks about it like that. And the new game by Initiative could be something very similar. It might steal some elements from Perfect Dark and maybe be set in the same universe and feature maybe some of the same lore, but at the end of the day, nobody's really going to draw the comparisons between the two, just like nobody draws the comparisons between Apex Legends and Titanfall. So now we know that the Initiative's game is Perfect Dark, but it isn't, but it is, but it isn't. When can we expect Microsoft to finally show this game for the first time? If you recall, a lot of people said it would be at the Xbox Game Showcase, and then as we got closer to the show, there was reports that Microsoft pulled it from that conference because they feared Sony would have something to show in August that would blow people away. That didn't happen, and when Microsoft decided to delay Halo Infinite from 2020, their planned announcements of the Xbox Series S, as well as price and pre-orders, were shifted from August to September. Now, it is possible we might see the Initiative's game in some CGI trailer form in September, alongside the announcement of Xbox Series S and the price point for Xbox Series X and the release date and all that stuff. I think it's probably more likely we will see the Initiative's game debut at the VGAs at the end of the year. People are also bringing up the fact that the Initiative is a quadruple-A studio this week. Some have been making fun of it, and some have been wondering what exactly does that mean. I've always said AAA means one thing to Microsoft. It's basically budget. How much money Microsoft is pouring into the studio. AAA means more than AAA, which is more than AA. And Jeff Grubb says in the article that Microsoft also describes the initiative as its quadruple-A studio. What is a quadruple-A studio? Well, it's a weird term, but I get what the company means. The initiative is going to make big, expensive games, and they're so big and so expensive that their scope may reach beyond the blockbusters we have had up to this point. Now that right there, alongside the talent that the initiative has been hiring, is why a lot of Xbox fans are really drooling with the anticipation to see what the initiative is making. The term big and expensive games, quadruple A, is something that makes Xbox fans really excited, because there's been really a lack of AAA expensive games the last few years from Xbox. So when Microsoft set up this studio, and when you see headlines that Microsoft is stealing developers from Sony Santa Monica and Naughty Dog and Rockstar, and that the game they're going to make is described as AAA and big and expensive, it gets people really excited. Hell, just this week, the initiative boss Daryl Gallagher announced that the company hired 16 more industry veterans. These engineering and design experts come from studios like Bungie and Crystal Dynamics. Shadow the Tomb Raider and Marvel Avengers director Remy Lacoste comes on board to work as the initiative's experimental director, and Destiny 2's narrative designer Christine Thompson is now heading up the initiative's writing team. What these hires point to more than anything else is that it is still early for this project. The studio only opened up its doors in 2018, and it is still staffing up key positions, and it takes a long time, years, if not the better part of a decade, to build a blockbuster level video game, so a lot could change. So even though I said that the game could be debuted in September or at the end of the year, we probably won't be able to get our hands on the initiative's game until probably 2023, but I would imagine more 2024 at this point. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep my expectations in check for what the initiative is working on. When I read lines like the scope may reach beyond the blockbusters we've had up to this point, it only really sets unrealistic expectations. I'm sure whatever the initiative is working on is going to be a great game and it's going to look and play fantastic. But when you essentially hype it up by saying it's a quadruple A studio and that the scope may be beyond anything we played recently, yeah, I don't know. Usually when that happens, I'm expecting the moon, and when I play the final product, I end up being a little bit disappointed. So let me know what you think about all this information about the initiative's game being Perfect Dark, but not really, maybe being set in the universe, but potentially not. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have to say, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, share this out on social media, or tell a friend about the channel. Hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified right away whenever I drop a new video. If you want to take your support for the channel even further, you can hit the join button, where you will get access to channel badges and emotes for the Xbox 2 podcast. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch the video. It always means so much to me, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Thank you guys.